Ghana.
Mfida, the Shafa Shrunko, the share Yanfi Oha, Yedi Wagana, there, Media Bra, Otintim, and Media Wagana, Nimfi Oha, Mfida, they shed them far to them.
The most important part of the celebrations of last year's Jalsa was the address that Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Ayadahullah bin Nasir Aziz gave us, and the 18-point manifesto which he gave us, which is very important and for each and every Ahmadi Muslim in this country to understand. And it is the reason why we have printed thousands of copies of that manifesto in a booklet form. Some 30,000 copies or so have been printed. And it's expected that each and every one of you will take a copy home. I only intend on drawing our attention to the very first manifesto, the very first point only, which our beloved Imam drew our attention to.
Mfida, Ra, Yashadam Fakasi, you made to cry, not I had made this soon Cassia, now, Ono, and ye as far Yashadin in the Fapim, Casa, Yanusu Mackenzie, or Kasai, the chain. The Kasai Muno, not order in sample be 2 hour chair, then a sample, no Yapapa ye. The Mr. Me. Nam Robaya, Medeni Biara, open your be Akai Atase, na Ote Abone Brano. Yet in Tim Ebumadra, the Mumano, yet Abajas, Yasia, Yachanuka, the Obiara Jibi, na Uncle Can. Na Maotican wom, and some part, Yansu Ganzi, Ochinado, Okasa chain, Motican woma, Nubudo Papa, Onona, Fee, Mepede, Bijinado, na Meka Asam Kakrat.
We also directed that booklet should be the subject of dars throughout the regions, throughout the circuits, and throughout the Jamaat. In each and every one of our Jamaats, each missionary must make it a point to go through this booklet from page to page, get it translated to the lowest, to our local languages, and make it understandable to each and every member of our community. Any member of a community who finds that in his community his missionary does not or is not doing this is at liberty to report to us, and I can assure that missionary that we will take him on very seriously.
Ibio, Otaikra, Onamdo Ma, Yeti Damiju Benny there. A war, second BRM, son BRM, Manto BRM, no. Yebenya, Damu baby, Ono, na Abri Biara say, ya, sorry, na, or ya dancer. Yanusu Mackenzie, Ninsama, or to 2 years, Nafu to some other money, you know. Ono, the Yabejano, na Yeti, I dance. See, Amir, Isha, Asofu, you know, there. Yenina Yabenya beat the Yakai, na Yeti, you may say, Jamati be woho, na Obane there, software or Hono. One father, Mrs. Shea, Juma, na or your Jamat, Nasuti there. Wabama Amir, Nasati, Namisha, who got there. Sir Moka, Nasuti there, so for more Umpotemno. One fat Amir in Samia, Juma, honor themselves on Amir Nara, now on your bitty.
The very first and foremost point that Huzur drew our attention to was that we, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community of Ghana, should never forget who we are.
Asama, the Susu Mackenzie Kayede, Yan Ahmadiyya Muslim Fua, Yawagana, Ma Yen Fir, the Piada, Yen Pesua,
We should never forget who we are and what we represent in today's world.
Ma Yen Fir, Yen Nipa Titua, and Ye Jinabua Yejina, or in the Viasimu.
Who we are and what we represent in today's world, a world which is riddled with geopolitical conflicts that are rapidly increasing by the day, and hatreds out of those conflicts are becoming deeply entrenched, both within nations and at global level. In this direction, Hazar Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, admonishes us saying, beware, beware that as you strive to further the cause of Ahmadiyyat through preaching, beware that as you strive to further the cause of Ahmadiyyat through preaching, those who hear your message will ask. Those who you are preaching to and who will hear your message, they will ask, what is it that distinguishes the people who have accepted the promised Messiah? What is it that distinguishes them from those who haven't accepted the promised Messiah? As they hear you preach, that is the question they will be asking.
Mutu anamon repo Ahmedia ho Ahmedia nensem de wuri na moda Ahmedia edi tichire krofo a wonye Ahmedia fui asama wo bebisa ho menye de dem krofo ya wose waje anohoba mesaya edi ebe na aze na oye sonko tefa hono.
Those who says, those who have heard your message, after hearing your message, will observe, they will study you, they will observe you, whether you possess true love of God Almighty, you, the one who is calling them to God, whether you really possess true love of Allah Almighty, and whether you manifest the highest morals and virtues in every situation and every place.
Oka nyamesemi nkrofo a wobekse wonsemi bi no obehwe mudina wa hwekwan amofado mutu anamonde na nkrofo a won wotu nsafre ende yemra ala otumfu nyankopon nchen ana wo nyankopon no hodo ampa na wonu subanpa no mu asetena no otide wo nkrofo a woda subanpa di na wo bo kronkron bra ana.
They will watch you in the form of a query and try to see whether you reflect those very teachings that you are drawing their attention to, those very things that you are calling them to. They will watch you to see whether you reflect those very teachings, you yourself, which you are inviting them to. Do you reflect them or you do not? If you do, fair enough. If you do not, what right have you to call them to those?
Obashaudi no wahwa brabo na wahwe de ana namsampa rekachira won de onye nchirechira odimu na oye papai ana odedi wo brabo mana obebi sada hwe de wana montu arutu onye dam nchirechira yuko subanya reda nadi onye wara nchirechira yuko sa yame wadom na amede nchirechira eti chirechira no onye usibani ye peza ono alhamdulillah ne mom se ambane dam da asmo obebi sa wanye de eben akwenya na ewode ebeba on dem church wo bra awa ema dem church no inzido.
This advice of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz is what I want to be our take home, each one of us from this Jalsa.
Dem afutu sama yanu sunsu mekanzi odema yeni onenye asama pepede yenyina yafa di fi ha na yedi kofie.
It is to tell us that we have preached Islam and preached Islam to the highest levels. We've covered a lot of grounds. There is still a lot of ground to cover. And we will continue doing it. But it has reached a point when, apart from preaching Islam to people, calling them to accept that true message, it is now time for us to prove to the world that we are embodiments of that Islam. And that Islam reflects in the life of each and every one of us. That anybody who is trying his or her best to know what Islam looks like, encountering any one of us, the person will be able to have a true picture, a true feeling of Islam. A picture that will be encouraging, enticing enough, magnetic enough to be able to help that person based on the preachings that he has heard. Having seen your practical lifestyle to decide now to join us.
Ampaso yebekodo na yakanyamsem akyerɛkyerɛ amedia ne kyikyi na mmom baabi a yɛadui no baabi a yɛadu mbra a ɔda yɛma yɛne nyamsɛm ka no ɔyɛ yenusuban amedia nkyerɛkyerɛ a yɛrekyerɛkyerɛ no afei na ɔda yɛma ɔda adi wɔ yɛn abrabom ama sɛ yi ɔda adi wɔ yɛn abrabom na adasamba a yɛka nyamsɛm kyerɛ no wɔhu da ampa yi na yɛreda na adi na oye no kwasem de se ifada kwani yuda oye kwana oye kwanpa na oda di we na abrabom da na akoye ada wo behwedo na wo abeye ahmedia onu na afi orbechiri nipa wo abeye ahmedia na mom onkoye kasa nkote na obeye suban na yen abrabom ye anamontu na yedebeka nyamesem.
Unfortunately, our brethren from the Upper West, when they were coming